What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and this is a long-awaited one from a lot of people. Why I don't like the show Hunter x Hunter, and as you can see, trash eggs trash merch, because that's what we call Hunter x Hunter on these parts of the anime community. In the anime community on TikTok, I'm kind of known as the person that doesn't like Hunter x Hunter, is always kind of dissing on Hunter x Hunter, doesn't like Hunter x Hunter, and that's made merch about Hunter x Hunter, and even has an emote for it on their stream, because, I don't know, it's kind of funny to me. By the way, speaking of streaming, I'm live on Twitch right now, so after you finish this video, feel free to stop by. My link will be in the bio down below if you want to come and watch me on Twitch. I'm constantly getting the question, why don't I like Hunter x Hunter? What is your problem with Hunter x Hunter? And on TikTok, I really don't have a lot of time to elaborate. You get 15 to 60 seconds to make a video about something, and that's really not enough time to talk about all the problems I have with the show. So I figured, why not make a video where I can just have it posted forever, and anytime people have me a question, I can direct them here and they can come watch it and give their thoughts, and I can just answer everything here and have it all in one area. For starters, it was just boring to me. I got really bored watching Hunter x Hunter. One of the main reasons I watched it, one of my friends recommended it to me, said it was super good. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a look. He told me, wait till you get to the Ant arc before you drop it. The Ant arc is like the best arc, and you should just wait till you get there before you decide if it's good or not. And it's just the best arc. But the Chimera Ant arc in Hunter x Hunter is really like one of the last arcs, except for the election arc. And I just didn't really even like the election arc like that. I didn't see the point in the election arc, honestly. And so having it climax and be like just piquing my interest to just end so abruptly, I couldn't enjoy the show after that. It kind of ruined the show for me to an extent. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate on the show because it just ended so abruptly and out of the blue and had such like a rushed ending, it felt like. But like I said, I was watching because I got recommended by a friend. They told me the Chimera Ant arc was the best part, so I was kind of anticipating that part. And then to see it not even live up to what I was expecting or what I thought was going to happen. Yeah, the Chimera Ant arc isn't even my favorite arc. I personally like the York New City arc the best. And I'm going to go into like some reasons why I just feel like Hunter x Hunter is not that good of an anime to me. Hunter x Hunter is supposed to be a battle shonen, and to me the fights honestly were just boring. All the fights, I pretty much forgot most of them. The only fights that I felt like were really interesting were Netero versus Miram, as well as a handful of other fights that really are, like I said, forgettable in my mind. Hisoka in the dodgeball match at Greed Island was pretty cool, and then Kurapika's fight against the guy against the Phantom Troop, like I said. Don't even remember it that much, but that was pretty interesting as well to me. Other than the fights being pretty forgettable, like I said, not that interesting to me for it being a battle shonen, a lot of the characters to me were just forgettable. The only person out of the Phantom Troop whose name I actually remember is Crollo, and he's the leader, so that's obviously I should remember. But most of the characters I felt were just kind of rushed or just not complete in my opinion, and I just think it could have been a lot better and there could have been a lot more character development to me. Hold on, if you made it this far into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below to see more content just like this. Alright, let's get back into it. And don't get me wrong, there's great characters in Hunter x Hunter. Crollo, great character in my opinion. Hisoka, I liked him as a character. Kilo was a fantastic character. Kurapika was okay. I felt like Sasuke in Naruto is a much better character, even though I know he's like a play on Kurapika. I think Sasuke was done a lot better than Kurapika in my opinion. So there's just so many characters that are well written, but there's also at the same time a lot of characters that were just really forgettable, even though they were supposed to play a main point to the story. Another complaint I just have about the show is just personal preference, relatability in the show. I don't feel like a lot of the characters are really relatable. I don't see how you can really relate to Killua. Don't really see how you can relate to Kurapika. Leorio, he's like your average Joe, so I could see how you can relate to him. And then Gon's like a 12-year-old kid that's just kind of, you know, all about himself with these like weird constructs of like good and bad that don't really make sense but make him a super interesting character. But like there's not a lot of characters you can really relate to up until the Chimera Ant arc and you deal and see with all their struggles. But like I said, before Chimera Ant arc, I was just kind of bored with a lot of the characters, and I was like, yeah, they're cool characters, but like I don't relate to them in any way, shape, or form. Like there's no problems that they deal with like your ordinary person would deal with. I was looking forward to Chimera Ant arc as well. It was such a big arc and it had been so hyped up for me, and people have told me it's like one of the best arcs in all of anime, and it just kind of let me down. Like there's a narrator that hasn't been there throughout the whole show that just appears and starts telling you exactly what's happening through the show, and I feel like the show is supposed to be so deep and in depth that it kind of takes away from it when you dumb it down with the narrator explaining everything that's going on. And as well as that, Gon's transformation I felt like was just so unnecessary and out of the blue. Even in Dragon Ball Z, you kind of see Goku's transformation coming. Naruto, you kind of see his transformations coming. But nowhere in Hunter x Hunter did we see anybody go through a transformation like Gon did, and it just seems so out of the blue for him to just get this adult going for him, to just go to town on P2 after we'd never seen it in the entire show. It had never even been thought about or talked about or even referenced. So I just thought it was really strange for Gon to get this broken transformation that cost him life, which it didn't even cost him his life, at the end of the show out of the blue. And like I said, Gon's transformation was supposed to cost him his life and his ability to use Nin. And Hunter x Hunter is supposed to be like a deconstruction of a shonen, but it's like still basically a basic shonen. Like, Gon should have lost his life, he should have lost his Nin abilities, but at the end of it, he literally has no sacrifice for what he's done, and he just gets to be back to being normal Gon freaks. Like, I feel like that was just so wasted, and it could have been such a perfect moment to get character development for Gon, or like a sacrifice for Gon, but it was just wasted. And on top of that, the transformation that Gon got was because of Kite dying, and then it turns out Kite's not even dead. So Gon felt all this pain for a person that he thought was dead, and it turns out they were alive this whole time, based off a Nin ability that just came out of the blue. Like, Kite's ability was supposed to be able to let him create random weapons, and now you're telling me he can transfer his soul or whatever into another being? Like, I just don't understand where that came from and how that's like such great writing. And another problem I have is at the end of the show, when like I said, Gon's life is on the line, he's about to die. Killua has a sister that can grant wishes now? Like, how perfect is that? Sure, she had been referenced a handful of times, but like, how perfect is it that Killua just so happens to have the sister that can just save Gon's life out of the blue, that we had never even, we had seen her, but we hadn't heard nothing about her up until then, and she just has to be the perfect person to save Gon and save Killua's best friend. Like, I don't know, I just feel like there's so many problems with it that I just didn't enjoy. Yes, I do know Takashi is sick, that's why the anime is not finished and the manga is not complete, but I'm not basing it based off Takashi being sick. I'm not going to take off points for that, but separating Takashi from his work is unfinished, so that the fact that people call it a masterpiece when it has no true ending to me just doesn't really make sense. In my opinion, once again, I feel like a masterpiece has to have an ending, and Hunter x Hunter lacks that. Like, sure, it's a good anime, but like, the ending is what brings everything together. It completes it, literally, and Hunter x Hunter just doesn't have that, and that's so important to me in an anime. And I just feel like there's so many issues, but people still find a way to call it this masterpiece and tell me that these aren't flaws, or that I'm just not smart enough to understand the show. And speaking of that, that's another problem I have with the show. It doesn't bring it down for me, but the fan base. I'm not the type of person to let a fan base bring down a show for me. I already didn't like the show before I got on TikTok. I just didn't realize that Hunter x Hunter was such a big show and so popular until I got on TikTok. So then when I realized I was one of the few people that didn't like the show, why not make content on it? And now that all these people started bashing me and I've made like hating on the show, hating quote unquote, a trend, I'm gonna ride the trend because that's absolutely hilarious to me. Why would I not ride a trend that I started? That just doesn't make sense. Hunter x Hunter has had one of the worst fan bases I've ever dealt with, dealing with comments like all of these. And these are just a handful of the comments I've had to deal with just for saying I didn't enjoy the show. And my favorite one is always, "You're too simple-minded to understand the greatness that is Hunter x Hunter." When I made merch called Trash X Trash to just simply roast you, and you can't even understand such a simple joke, that you think I'm bashing an anime when I'm really just bashing the toxic fan base. And it's hilarious to me that I've created a joke so simple, but people that swear I'm the simple-minded one don't understand the joke. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I hate Hunter x Hunter, and it's not like I think it's the worst show ever. There's shows I think are worse. It's just I didn't like the show, and I've had such a bad experience with the fan base. I like to troll the fan base because it's absolutely hilarious to me at this point that I've created a joke that they don't even understand somehow. And like I said, I went as far as to make merch for it because it's absolutely hilarious to me, and it's just a funny thing, and I've become known for it. So why would I just not ride the wave of something that I've created? And people have said that Hunter x Hunter slander has become so bad that people hate on it because it's a trend. Why would I not continue something that I made a trend, or that I feel like I made a trend? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, obviously I don't hate the show that much, and if you ask me and try and have a conversation with me, I can explain that to you. But people just automatically start assuming and bashing me for no reason that they don't even try and understand, and it's just funny. And don't get me wrong, I did love a handful of the characters and found them interesting. Like I said, I really enjoyed the York New City arc. It was one of my favorite arcs in the whole show. And there's some great characters once again. And Nin is one of the best power systems, if not the best power system I've seen across all of anime, but I still just did not enjoy the show that much. Like, Nin is one of the coolest power systems I've ever seen. The fact that you get a Nin ability based off like your personality and your life. Crollo was an absolutely amazing example. Crollo is not a human being. Crollo believes he is the Phantom Troop. He's nothing without the Phantom Troop. So for his Nin ability to not have his own Nin ability, but to have to take other people's because he sees nothing of himself, is like the coolest freaking thing I've ever seen in anime. I hope this video explained why I don't like Hunter x Hunter. Like I said, everything I said was just my personal reasoning for I don't like the show, as well as just I like clowning the fan base, but they don't seem to understand that. If you made it to the end of the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to see more content like this, as well as, like I said, I'm live on Twitch right now, so come by and say hello. Why not? You might as well if you made it to the end. Other than that, I hope you all had a great day. Peace.